Hello and welcome to From the South, teleSur's daily news show. We start off, again, as always, in Latin America. The UN General Assembly adopted a resolution unanimously calling for an end to the U.S. blockade against Cuba. The United States, which has traditionally voted against the resolution, abstained from the vote for the first time. It was the 25th time that the resolution presented by Cuba was passed. It was approved by a vote of 191 countries in favor in the 193-nation assembly. Israel and the United States abstained. Thousands of opposition supporters marched through Caracas, Venezuela on October 26th, determined to hold a recall referendum that would force elections this year. The peaceful march comes on the backdrop of a suspension of the referendum after 7 Venezuelan states discovered discrepancies in the collection of signatures in the initial stage of the process. The government has said that the referendum will not happen before 2017. Meanwhile, outside of the Miraflores presidential palace, thousands marched in support of the Venezuelan president, Nicolas Maduro. Government supporters say they will protect the constitution of Venezuela against any unlawful threats and will reject any attempt to destabilize the country and promote violence. Brazil's lower house has passed a bill for a constitutional amendment that would reduce public spending in the struggling economy. This in spite of massive public disdain over the decision that many believe will signify cuts in health and education expenditure. The amendment, known as PEC 241, passed the Chamber of Deputies in the second round of voting with 359 people in favor. The measure now goes to the Senate for approval. Meanwhile, hundreds hit the streets of Sao Paulo to protest the austerity measures approved by the Brazilian lower house on Tuesday night. Bolivia's government and a consortium led by Spain's Repsol signed a deal to develop 2 natural gas fields with an investment that could exceed $1 billion. The 2 fields, Boicombo and Boyube, in the southern Cayapipende block, are thought to contain some 5 trillion cubic feet of natural gas and accounts for roughly half of Bolivia's exports. In international news, airstrikes conducted by Syrian or Russian warplane killed at least 26 people, most of them schoolchildren, according to rescue workers. The attack took place in a residential neighborhood, in a school and village in Syria's rebel Idlib. As a major Iraqi offensive moved ever closer to Mosul, civilians in villages of the eastern outskirts of the city were being bused to a camp near Qasir. According to residents, Islamic State group militants were shaving their beards and changing hideouts in Mosul. In France, Calais Regional Prefect Fabien Boussiot announced the end of the Calais jungle earlier today. But according to some reporters, groups of adults remained at the camp, and charities said many unaccompanied minors had not been processed. Thousands of students took to the streets of Madrid on Wednesday during a strike to protest against a new education law. Students marched while chanting slogans and holding banners against the education ministry and the government as a whole. Some of the students also held Spanish Republican flags. Calling the International Criminal Court the International Caucasian Court, Gambia became the 3rd African nation to announce its departure from the Hague Tribunal. The ICC has indicted 39 defendants in its 16-year career, all Africans. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte sought to assure Japan that his high-profile visit to China last week was about economics, not security. Duterte vowed to stand on Tokyo's side over the disputed South China Sea when the time came.
Dozens of Palestinian women in the Gaza Strip held a solidarity event Wednesday morning titled "You Are Still Beautiful" to support women with breast cancer in the besieged territory. The activity was organized by the Aid and Hope Program for Cancer Patient Care, aiming to raise the public awareness about the issue and the importance of early detection of the disease. The organizers distributed awareness brochures about breast cancer and offered free checkups to all participating women.
This is the first time that the State of Palestine participates in a regional awareness campaign against breast cancer. We aim to reach thousands of women in the Gaza Strip to raise awareness about the importance of early detection of breast cancer.
Meanwhile, the Palestinian ambassador to the Palestinian Authority, Mr. Takashi Okugu, and the representative of the UN's Popular Fund inaugurated a memorial dedicated to women with breast cancer in Gaza in the square of the Unknown Soldier in Gaza City in support of the program's awareness campaign against the disease. breast cancer is the most common type of cancer in Gaza. According to the Ministry of Health, 1 in every 12 Palestinian women will develop breast cancer, which is a high number comparing to elsewhere figures. Although the early detection of breast cancer can increase chances of recovery, the fact that hospitals in Gaza lack diagnosis and treatment equipment has resulted in low survival rates among women struggling with breast cancer. Nuharazin Trisu TV, Gaza.
Finally, the body of Brazilian soccer great Carlos Alberto has been laid to rest in Rio de Janeiro. Alberto's body was carried to the cemetery on top of a fire truck, where family and some notable names of soccer, including former Brazilian head coach Pereira and former Brazilian player Cafu, waited. And that's all for news from the South. For more on these and other stories, you can visit our website, telesurtv.net/English.